Okay, there we are. OBS says we are alive. Okay. So this is Dear Esther. Um, it's a relatively short story-based visual game, visual novel that I've had on my queue for a while. Just have not gotten around to playing it before. Let's see, make sure everything is set up correctly. I've got controller, audio, video should be good. Okay. I've played visual games like visual novels like this before. Uh, Beginner's Guide, Stanley Parable, Life is Strange, stuff like that. But this one I'm just now getting around to. So let's see how it goes. Director's commentary. I might try that later. Lighthouse. I guess that is the first chapter. Okay.
Dear Esther, I have lost track of how long I have been here, and how many visits I have made overall. Certainly the landmarks are now so familiar to me that I have to remind myself to actually see the forms and shapes in front of me. I could stumble blind across these rocks, the edges of these precipices, without fear of missing my step and plummeting down to sea. Besides, I have always considered...
Hold on. Is there... captions? There we are. Let's see how big that is before I turn on large captions.
that if one is to fall, it is critical to keep one's eyes firmly open.
Okay, all the buttons just zoom in, look around. Okay, none of the other buttons seem to do anything except zoom in. Okay. Anything over here? Nothing on the rocks. On games like this, I tend to go exploring everywhere except where I'm probably supposed to go. I think I'm expected to go in that house, and I will later. Actually, that's a long path. Maybe... Okay, this path is longer than I thought. I'll go in the house first. Okay, yeah, that'll be fine. Paint buckets. A lot of paint. I think that's what that is. A work shed of some kind attached to the house. What is in here? What is that? I can't easily read what that says. A journal. Oh wait, I forget. You can zoom in. Let's see. Food and Goods Convention. European Food and Goods Convention 19... Can't read the year that well. And yeah, I can't read that even zoomed in. Okay. Oh, that chemistry? Carbon hydroxide. I don't. Yeah, it's been long enough. I don't recognize that compound. It's probably an Easter egg. I will look that up later. Okay, well, nothing in the house. Can I go in the lighthouse? No, it doesn't appear. Okay, going up the path then. It's just the ground. Okay, I thought there was something on the ground. Didn't know if I can make that.
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
Nothing down there. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can resize this window because it's a little hard for me to see. Okay, there we go. What's this? Okay, now that's the way I came in. Okay. Can I get over there? get past that rock. There's no jump button. Where am I supposed to go? Can I make it? I feel like I'm about to fall out. I figured that was going to happen. It may be the intended path. I am not sure where I am supposed to go. Some trash.
When you were born, your mother told me, a hush fell over the delivery room. A great red birthmark covered the left side of your face. No one knew what to say, so you cried to fill the vacuum. I always admired you for that you cried to fill whatever vacuum you found. I began to manufacture vacuums just to enable you to deploy your talent. The birthmark faded by the time you were 6 and had gone completely by the time we met, but your fascination with the empty and its cure remained.
So sure, is he speaking to me? Am I the one speaking? I don't yet understand how this narrative is working yet. This comes right back. Okay, so that's where I fell earlier. Okay, on up the path.
The mount is clearly the focal point of this landscape. It almost appears so well placed as to be artificial. I find myself easily slipping into the delusional state of ascribing purpose, deliberate motive to everything here. Was this island formed during the moment of impact? When we were torn loose from our moorings and the seatbelts cut motorway lanes into our chests and shoulders, did it first break surface then?
I'm gonna step over. Okay, there's a stairway in case I did fall. Okay. Can I climb up the mountain? Somewhat. Not very well. Yeah, I don't think I'm intended to make it all the way up there. Not yet, at least.
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this, to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Okay. I don't see the lines here. Yeah, I'm gonna go down and see if there's any lines. Okay.
Come back.
Stacking. I don't recognize what that means. Let's see, is there a way to get down there? Recognize the circle. Is that the like the golden ratio? I recognize. I can't remember where that circle was found though. I think this may be close to where I jumped off the cliff earlier.
I have found the ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
So I saw the notebook in the house, and I wonder if that was the antacid compounds that was chalked on the wall. What is that? Huh. A car door? Part of some sort? Shocks? I'm not sure. There's a tire. I didn't see that the first time. What's a car doing out here? And I think that's as far as I can go this way. Yeah, I can't climb over those rocks. Alright, time to go back. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna look that up. Is that the golden ratio? I recognize a circle, but not well enough to name it. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, there it is. I'm gonna put it up there. I don't know if you can see it on the webcam or not. And yeah, it's not showing up. Come on, get back. Oh, here's a dark one. Let's see if that shows up. Okay, yeah, that's what I was looking at. That's what I thought I saw. And I think that's what this is intended to be on the ground. I didn't see the lines that the guy talked about having been drawn. How far can I go? What is this?
Come back.
Okay, that was weird. I don't know what language the achievements are. Something else I have to look up later. Where's the staircase? Did I go past it? There should be some stairs back up to the next level. There's that. Thought it might have been another car part or something. It may be. I can't tell. Is there a run button? No, there isn't. So they put marks on the beach to warn boats not to come. There's an infection of some sort. I have no idea what's going on yet. I'm sure that blinking radio tower might have some answers. I think this may be where I tried climbing up before. Yeah, I don't think you can make it. I'm curious what's up there. Hopefully I can climb up there later. Missed anything? There's not been much on this path. Just that cave earlier. Ooh, that looks interesting. Like a little Stonehenge formation. This. Okay, just a post.
I quote directly, a motley lot with little to recommend them. I have now spent 3 days in their company. That is, I fear, enough for any man not born amongst them. Despite their tedious inclination to quote scripture, they seem to me the most godforsaken of all the inhabitants of the Outer Isles. Indeed, in this case, the very gravity of that term, forsaken by God, seems to find its very apex. It appears to me that Donnelly, too, found those who wander this shoreline to be adrift from any chance of redemption. Did he include himself in that, I wonder?
One second, let me move my window here. There we go. Okay. anything on this side? Curious, what is that? Can go either way. Let's just section back up here. Thought I heard something. Hmm. Is that the same cave?
Dear
I don't
Esther,
think so.
I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
What is going on here? So the man was kind of crazy, beyond the boundary. Was he really owed? We talked earlier about the hermit that lived a really long time. So can I walk up the riverbed? I think I'm going to run into a dead end here. Is that a radio static? I'm gonna go back and look at that boat before I get too far away from it. Thought it was. I don't know if you can get to the boat. I think it's too far out. And am I gonna drown again? Yep. What is that? Like a pulse.
Come back.
It's creepy. I like it. Is there? Okay. Oh, there's something on that rock. I guess just a funny lighting artifact. Okay. Let's see what's in the cave.
This hermit, this seer, this distant historian of bones and old bread, where did he vanish to? Why? Asked the farmers. Why? Asked Jakobsen. Why bother with your visions at all, if you're just to throw your arms up at the cliff and let it close in behind you and seal you into the belly of the island, a museum shut to all but the most devoted?
Turn the brightness up just a hair. Mouse out of the way. Oops. A little bit better. God. All that paint. What is this? It's like a neuron or a nerve. Recognize that. Some undersea creature. Okay, more. These. Nothing up there. What are those? Another molecule looks similar to the one, but with tendrils coming off on either side. I was going to say it looks similar to the one in the house. Is that what caused the infection? Huh. Sound and the music is rather haunting.
dreamt I stood in the center of the sun, and the solar radiation cooked my heart from the inside. My teeth will curl and my fingernails fall off into my pockets like loose change. If I could stomach, I'd eat, but all I seem capable of is salt water. Were the livestock still here, I could turn feral and gorge. I'm as emaciated as a body on a slab, opened up for a premature source of death. I've rowed to this island in a heart without a bottom, all the bacteria of my gut rising up to sing to me.
It's a gruesome image. So, they talk about an infection and people living a really long time. And those weird chemicals that are painted on the walls. And there's the obvious connection between those, but I will hold off and see what else this game tells me. What is this? Oh yeah, there's that Stonehenge type thing I saw from up there. Is there anything else here? Can't make it up here. I have to look in every nook and cranny. I can go that way. Or this way. Check this way first. I don't think it goes anywhere. And yeah, I think that will kill me. Yeah, that's where I went before. There's that car door down there, I think. I heard a radio static earlier. Where did that come from? And where is that radio tower from here? I think it's somewhere that way over that mound. Okay, it looks like a path I cannot climb back up.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services, but although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Where is he trying to go that he seems to be almost magically unable to get to. This way. There's that. That's a different color. The other tower was red blink. Had a red blinking light, I think. Okay. Nothing up there. Does this go somewhere? If that's the ship. I wonder if that's the ship that Manifest came from. That was on that cabin table.
I've begun to wonder if Donnelly's voyage here was as prosaic as it was presented. How disappointed not to have found the bones of the holy man. No wonder he hated the inhabitants so. To him they must have seemed like barnacles mindlessly clinging to a mercy seat. Why cling so hard to the rock? Because it is the only thing that stops us from sliding into the ocean. Into oblivion.
A little melodramatic. Oh, what is that? I can't read it from back here. Does that say, neither did he eat nor drink? I can't read that very first word. Said neither. Does this say dead end? So I'm gonna have to go down there. Okay. Bell. I know these walking simulator visual novel type games, and they don't really have challenging enemies or anything, but I'm still kind of nervous about the boat. Is there anything in there? Is this nothing in there? More paint. Yeah, that didn't help my unease. Okay. say, I still can't read it from here. Guess you can't get on the boat. I'm gonna read what it says. I couldn't read it very well earlier. And say, and I neither ate nor drank. Still can't.
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
What is that? I don't. And neither did he eat nor drink. Okay. Is there a path I missed?
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
I confess I am not always good at separating actual story from metaphor, so I'm not sure what to make of that previous little monologue. It's down there. Stay up here for now. Definitely going to jump in there. Okay, more house. Oh, there's a little village up here. Okay. Explore this bottom path first, because I want to jump in that little pit.
What charnel house lies at the foot of this abyss? How many dead shepherds could fill this hole?
Oh, it's going to be one. Ah, don't get to see what's at the bottom.
Come back.
You get the same little heartbeat sound. No achievement for jumping in the pit. I'm disappointed by that. Okay. Is that where I came from? Yeah. Let's see what's in these houses. That one up there looks...
I've begun my ascent on the windless slope of the western side. The setting sun, was an inflamed eye squeezing shut against the light shone in by the doctors. My neck is aching through constantly craning my head up to track the light of the aerial. I must look downwards, follow the path under the island to a new beginning.
I was going to say, a house on the top of the hill looks to actually be in fairly good shape compared to this one here. Wonder, what is this? Barn. What does that say? With... Huh. Some animals kept in there. I guess that is a house where the humans lived. Okay, in one of the earlier audio bits, he talked about if there were still livestock around. I guess that's where the livestock was kept. The music's picked up.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
So what is the story with the white lines? When people were about to die, they would go to the beach and carve lines or paint lines. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any of them yet. Another worn out house over there. Okay, house actually is the one more run down than I thought it was from afar. Yeah. What have we got?
When the oil lamps ran out, I didn't pick up a torch, but used the moonlight to read by. When I've pulled the last shreds of sense from it, I will throw Donnelly's book from the cliffs, and perhaps myself with it. Maybe it will wash back up through the caves and erupt from the spring when the rain comes, making its return to the hermit's cave. Perhaps it will be back on the table when I wake. I think I may have thrown it into the sea several times before.
So is this the cabin that the narrator was in? What is that? I don't know. More paint. I don't see any paintings. That's the lantern he talked about using. Music. So is that an ultrasound photo? Chair's in the way. Is that another one? Either an ultrasound or some other similar type of medical scan. I can't tell exactly. Maybe related to the infection that he was talking about. I think that's everything in here. Yeah, it's the same book from before. Nothing in the fireplace, more paint. Oh. I guess the path continues behind the house. Okay. Anything in here? There's the painting. Similar to the one inside the cave of that weird underwater looking creature. Like a bacteria or virus of some sort. Or some underwater invertebrate. I have no idea what that is. Huh. Should I do it? Yeah, I might as well.
Come back.
No achievement for that. Okay, that's fine. Wind's definitely picking up. Was it blowing this hard earlier? Maybe it was.
What to make of Donnelly, the laudanum and the syphilis? It is clearly not how he began, but I've been unable to discover if the former was a result of his visiting the island or the force that drove him here. For the syphilis, a drunk driver smashing his insides into a pulp as he stumbled these paths, I can only offer my empathy. We're all victims of our age. My disease is the internal combustion engine and the cheap fermentation of yeast.
Another mention of the drunk driver. I still don't yet know what to make of it.
They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. All around him, small flowers were reaching for the weak sun. The goats had adjusted happily to life without a shepherd and were grazing freely about the valley. Donnelly reports they hurled the body in fear and disgust down the shaft, but I cannot corroborate this story.
wonder if it was that big shaft that I jumped down. What have we here? Like a skeleton from a ship.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
That was some disturbing music, I guess you can call it that. Yeah, check the cave before I go down the other path. Someone else has been here recently. What is this? Okay, that's where they threw. That was the shaft.
Donnelly did not pass through the caves. From here on in, his guidance, unreliable as it is gone from me. I understand now that it is between the two of us, and whatever correspondence can be drawn from the wet rocks.
Ooh. So I survived that fall. This took a strange turn. Okay. Wow. What is this? Is that like the paint? Candle. Someone is either living here or been here recently. What is this? Is this the same shaft they threw Jacobson down? Is he still alive? What is that? Just some moss, I guess. Another one of those little, like like a nerve or neuron of some sort. Interesting growth down here. I think that's paint. Might be some other form of luminescent life. I'm not sure. I think that's just a little loop here.
I first saw him sat by the side of the road. I was waiting for you to be cut out of the wreckage. The car looked like it had been dropped from a great height. The guts of the engine spilled over the tarmac, like water underground.
Someone has been down here for a very long time. What is this? Is that a schematic? Electrical diagram? I don't know what it is. Huh. I don't know what type of device that would be. Yeah, someone kind of went mad down here. What is all this? Anything in the middle? I don't think I can easily get in here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else in there. There's the candles. Okay, let's get out of here. Is that? I don't know what those lines are. Hmm. Oh, another shaft to jump down. Is there any way around it to see what's over there? I don't think so. go. Whee! Oh, I survived. Okay. And I can hold my breath for a while. Can't go up that way. What else is under here? Okay, here we go. I thought that would kill me. Or transition to another chapter of some kind. What's that? Shadow, I guess. Mushrooms. No painting, but lots of stalactites. Nothing down there, or nothing, nowhere I can go at least. More splatters on the wall. I don't know what those are. Thought maybe you could see something. Maybe not. That's where I came from? Yeah. These caves are gorgeous. Is that where I came from the first time and jumped in? It may have been. I think I can climb up here. Nope. Another candle. Whoever's living down here has made it this far, apparently. I'm curious if there actually is a mushroom that glows like that. Something else I'm gonna have to look up after we're done.
If the caves are my guts, this must be the place where the stones are first formed. The bacteria phosphoresce and rise, singing through the tunnels. Everything here is bound by the rise and fall, like a tide. Perhaps the whole island is actually underwater.
Okay, so those, what I wondered if were paint splatters on the wall, those actually are like bioluminescent bacteria growth. Okay. Where can I go now? Go either way. Or I can climb up here. Where does this go? Paint bucket? Yes, it was. More paintings. Who did this? Was the old man? Oh wow, that is cool. It's kind of crazy.
I will hold the hand you offered to me, from the summit down to this well, into the dark waters where the small flowers creep for the sun. Headlights are reflected in your retinas, moonlit in the shadow of the crematorium chimney.
Before I go that way, I want to see what's on this other side. Which I may not even be able to go up here. Yeah, come on. Nope. Yeah, I guess that's just too steep. Okay. What else is out here before I get in the water? Because I don't know if I can easily get out of the water if I were to get in. Chemical again. Okay. Okay, we can get out. Okay. There we go. Okay, we're out. Behold, Damascus is taken. Okay, this is kind of nuts. The weird cells combined with the electrical circuits. What does that say? Axe on 22.0. In the Bible, the book of Acts, chapter 22, verse 0 doesn't exist. I don't know what that's referring to. Damascus is taken. '51. What does that say? That's written backwards. Damascus. This is. I don't know if that still says fallen or not. It's hard to see. Away. Damascus has fallen away from being a city. And it shall be a... What does that say? It shall be a run... And it shall be a ruinous heap. I think that's what it says. I can't tell. Ruinous heap. Yeah, I think that's it. It's weird. Have no idea if that corresponds to anything that actually grows on Earth or not. I'm a good swimmer, apparently. Nothing underwater to look at. Hold on. Thought I was hearing voices earlier. That may have just been the background music. Yay, another shaft to jump down. Oh, okay. I meant to look around first. Stepped over the edge just before I meant to. A city? Underwater? Can I go up? I'm gonna sink back down. How high can I go up? Where am I now? I didn't want to exit the city. I want to walk around it a little bit. go back down? No, I think that was a one-way trip. I don't know, maybe you leave the town no matter what you do after so many seconds. A hallucination or dream of some sort, maybe. Hmm. And of the rocks. Okay, I can't go back that way now. Esther. Now where to? Yeah, you can't go backwards. Okay. Green? What is that? Huh. Candles and barrels.
The Sanford Junction, headlights in your retinas. Donnelly drove a grey hatchback without a bottom. All the creatures of the tarmac rose to sing to him. All manner of symbols crudely scrawled across the cliff face of my unrest. My life reduced to an electrical diagram. All my gulls have taken flight. They will no longer roost on these outcrops. The lure of the moon over the Sanford Junction is too strong.
Come on, get up there. So at first, I thought those lines were the people that came out to die, but no, what is this? Another diagram of some sort. I still can't make it out. I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's been long enough since I took digital logic in college. I can't recognize that. Go on the cave, or on the. Let's see what's over here first. And I die again.
Come back.
Still not completely sure what's going on, and I feel like there's more I should be understanding that I don't. So that cave entrance, I guess, comes out over there. That's one I just came out. Okay, here's the other one. Alright. Nothing in there. Is anything on that upper path? Is this a shipyard? What is this?
Dear Esther, I find each step harder and heavier. I drag Donnelly's corpse on my back across these rocks, and all I hear are his whispers of guilt, his reminders, his burnt letters, his neatly folded clothes. He tells me I was not drunk at all.
That seemed more angry than his other monologues have been. Okay, you can make it up here. What is on this path? Anything at all? Probably not. There's something. What is it? Luminous paint premium, longer lasting. Huh. Okay. It's the same cave I came out of earlier. Alright. So was Donnelly the drunk driver, or he claims he was not drunk? What is going on here? Thought I heard something. What is that? Scenes from the crash. Where would the crash have been? Okay. The defibrillate? What is that? Huh. So is that where did he try to revive his wife somehow? candles. Anything? Nothing out there. Hmm. What is that? A person standing in front of a building or some columns of some sort. I can't really make it out. It's definitely different chemical than earlier. Okay, where did that come from? Okay, so those are the parts from the crash. Strange shrine just built around them. Okay. So the old man, the narrator, is he the one who's been building all this? And is he the one who's been doing all the paintings?
There were chemical diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook. He worked for a pharmaceutical company with an office based on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. He'd been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic vision for the peddling of antacid yogurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into activity.
Okay, so those are Donnelly's compounds that he either invented or maybe it was just marketing. What is this? Shone around him. Light from heaven shone around him. A light from heaven shone around him. Okay. Where am I supposed to go? Up here?
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Who is you? See, he voted you into creases. What is this? The weird, ghostly, staticky radio. It kind of reminds me of Oxenfree in a way. Is that one of the several of the letters that he folded up, I think? Maybe you is Esther. Okay. And on a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. What is... I don't know what that is supposed to be. A nest with eggs. Did he build that? I have no idea what's going on here. Okay. What's that? The shape kind of disappears when you look right at it. On the right there's that weird kind of pentagram style shape. If I look at it, it fades a little bit. Get a bit closer maybe. I can't tell what that is. Is that the lines from the people who were dying?
I will drag my leg behind me. I will drag it like a crumpled hatchback, tires blown and sparking across the dimming lights of my vision. I'm running out of painkillers and am following the flicker of the moon home. When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they restarted his heart with the jump leads from a crumpled hatchback. It took 21 attempts to convince it to wake up.
Is it a person? Getting closer to the radio tower, too.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
And as he was proceeding on his journey, it was there a person up here? Or is that some other object that I just saw a weird silhouette? What was that? Yes, I'm suspicious enough to actually go back and get that angle again. What was that? Get up there. Yeah, I don't think I can. Okay. I'm retracing some steps, I know. Okay, that. I don't know, maybe it might have been my imagination. I thought I saw something standing beside that light earlier. was come near. And was come near to Damascus. Okay. As he was proceeding on his journey, kind of written backwards, hard to follow. As he was proceeding on his journey, and was come near to Damascus, and he was...
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
And he was 3 days without sight, and neither did he eat nor drink. Yeah. So I think, yeah, syphilis untreated causes brain damage or kills brain cells. Maybe I'm not sure. So I guess that's the man he was talking about, going insane due to syphilis. Maybe why those neurons were drawn on the wall as well.
There are headlights reflected in these retinas. Too long in the tunnels of my island without a bottom. The sea creatures have risen to the surface, but the gulls are not here to carry them back to their nests. I've become fixed, open and staring, an eye turned on itself. I've become an infected leg whose tracking lines form a perfect map of the junctions of the M5. I will take the exit at mid-thigh and plummet to my Esther.
Okay, that's the shipyard at the bottom. I think that's what it is. What is... There's a little tally mark someone carved. Over here too, on a like a flagpole of some sort. And it came to pass that as I made my journey, I can't read it very well down here. I'll look at the buildings first. There, sorry. There's that compound again. Another cliff. Something else to jump off of. Let's see. It didn't fall very far.
Come back.
Time to proceed through the fence. There. Danger. Unauthorized personnel keep out. Is that on this side? It's on this side of the fence. So people are not supposed to go this way. Extreme danger. Unstable cliff edge. Huh. I can't tell. I feel like that might be just a little mistake with the design, but maybe not. And it came to pass that as I made my journey and was come I can't read. I feel like I'm almost too close to the wall. I can't read it very well. Some was something unto Damascus. I can't read what that middle word says. Noon. I'm having a hard time reading some of the words, and I don't know if I'm actually supposed to be having as much trouble as I am. Suddenly, the shown from heaven a great light round about me. Great light from heaven shone about me, and could not see. For the
Blind
glory.
with panic, deaf with the roar of the caged traffic, heart stopped on the road to Damascus. Paul sat at the roadside, hunched up like a gull, like a bloody gull. As useless and as doomed as a syphilitic cartographer, a dying goat herd, an infected leg, a kidney stone, blocking the traffic bound for Sanford and Exeter. He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. All his roads and his tunnels and his paths led inevitably to this moment of impact. This is not a recorded natural condition. He should not be sat there with his chemicals and his circuit diagrams. He should not be sat there at all.
Led by the hand of them. Got a somewhat unreliable narrator going on. I do not know what to trust of what he says. That were with me. Is there more of that sentence up here? Damascus. Is that Damascus? Came into... Yeah, I think this is written kind of backwards. Okay, hold on. What did the first part say? That were with me. To Damascus.
We will leave twin vapor trails in the air, white lines etched into these rocks. Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
I'm not controlling any of this, by the way. This is automatic. Hmm. There. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know what happened here. Hmm. Yeah, there's more to the story I did not pick up on. Now, maybe this would warrant a second playthrough at some point. Because I am not sure what's going on, what I'm supposed to have understood from that. Okay. Okay, guess I'll let this finish playing because I don't know if something else happens at the end. Resume? Where does that take you? Move the mouse. Is this the same? Yeah, this is the same cave I was in earlier. Like, I thought this might have been something new, like a second chapter, but I don't think this is the same thing. Was that tent there? Did I really just walk past that tent the first time and not even see it?
I sat here and watched two jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course, and I followed them for 21 minutes until they turned off near Sanford and were lost. If I were a gull, I would abandon my nest and join them. I would starve my brain of oxygen and suffer delusions of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
I don't recognize that monologue the first time, but I forget. I don't know if... Yeah, this may just be the same playthrough. I don't know if there's any actual new content the second time or not.
fire and soil, I chose fire. It seemed the more contemporary of the options, the more sanitary. I could not bear the thought of the reassembly of such a ruin. Stitching arm to shoulder and femur to hip, charting a line of thread like traffic stilled on a motorway, making it all acceptable for tearful aunts and traumatized uncles flown in specially for the occasion. Reduce to ash, mix with water, make a phosphorescent paint for these rocks and ceilings.
Okay, yeah, this is definitely new dialogue. Did I just not walk this way and trigger the dialogue the first time, or is it actually new? Yeah, I think he's talking about having cremated his wife. Did he just say he mixed her with the paint? maybe just say he mixed up the paint, not mixed her into the paint. Okay, there's the medical stuff. I knew there was probably some dialogue I'd missed at some point in the game. Let's see what else I can find. Okay, I was in here already. What is that? Broken picture frame of some sort. Maybe that was Esther.
There were chemical stains on the tarmac, the leak of air conditioning, brake fluid and petrol. He kept sniffing at his fingers as he sat by the roadside, waiting as if he couldn't quite understand or recognize their smell. He said he'd been traveling back from a sales conference in Exeter. He'd stopped for farewell drinks earlier, but had kept a careful eye on his intake. You could hear the sirens above the idling traffic.
Okay, so there's definitely new dialogue. Okay.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Okay. So you, in this case, is Esther. When she was, I guess, cremated, he put some ashes into each of the letters and cast her ashes out to sea, I guess. Oh, okay. So you can kind of swim. You just can't let yourself sink too far down. Oh, come on, back up. No, it's okay. Can't get back up from here.
Come back.
Hmm. I think that may be all the dialogue I missed, because up here the path is pretty linear, I think.
I will drag my leg behind me. I will drag it like a crumpled hatchback, tires blown and sparking across the dimming lights of my vision. I'm running out of painkillers and am following the flicker of the moon home. When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they restarted his heart with the jump leads from a crumpled hatchback. It took 21 attempts to convince it to wake up.
Okay, here's where I was earlier. And that is... Is that a person? Standing in front of a fire. Does it disappear when I get closer? I can't tell. Don't want it to leave my vision. Darn. That may not even be a person.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together. If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
Again, I've played several walking simulator story games like this before, but this one I don't know what to make of it. There's that weird, almost sci-fi bit earlier in the caves with the, I don't know.
There are headlights reflected in these retinas. Too long in the tunnels of my island without a bottom. The sea creatures have risen to the surface, but the gulls are not here to carry them back to their nests. I've become fixed, open and staring, an eye turned on itself. I've become an infected leg whose tracking lines form a perfect map of the junctions of the M5. I will take the exit at mid-thigh and plummet to my Esther.
if that is
A
these.
gull perched on a spent bonnet, sideways, whilst the sirens fell through the middle distance and the metal moaned in grief about us. I'm about this night in walking, old bread and gull bones, old Donnelly at the bar gripping his drink, old Esther walking with our children, old Paul as ever, old Paul. He shakes and he shivers and he turns off his lights alone.
Did he mention children in the previous playthrough? Maybe I'm forgetting.
We will leave twin vapor trails in the air, white lines etched into these rocks.
I think, yeah, I'm still controlling it now, but as soon as I walk through that,
Dear Esther,
yeah, I'm losing
I
control
have
again.
burned the cliffs of Damascus. I've drunk deep of it. My heart is my leg, and a black line etched on the paper all along this boat without a bottom. You are all the world like a nest to me. Eggs unbroken form like fossils, come together, send small black flowers to the air. From this infection, hope. From this island, flight. From this grief, love.
Jump and just like before, turn into a bird before he lands. Just same ending from before. Yeah, I am not yet sure what to make of this game. In the beginning, and you see kind of the remnants of the old house, the lighthouse. He's talking to his late wife, I guess. Then you get the weird talk about an infection. And you see the electrical circuits painted on walls and cave walls, and the chemical that's painted. And you come back out and he's talking about a drunk driver. And then you have all the metaphors that at least I have trouble keeping straight. I can't tell when he's talking about what, between the boat, the cave, his leg is now his heart. I don't yet know what to make of all this. And yeah. Is this game intended to take multiple playthroughs? I'm looking up right now. Does Dear Esther require multiple playthroughs? Um, yeah, I'm looking at more information about the game now. Hmm. Yeah, without looking up too much. Yeah, apparently some stuff is randomized whether it appears or not. Some of the dialogue triggers can be skipped. And again, there's so many different elements of the game. I am not sure what I was expected to understand, what I wasn't, what might require multiple playthroughs. But I think that will be enough for today. I might go back and replay this game off stream to get some of the parts that I missed. It was interesting. I could tell there's a good story in there, but I kind of got lost in the mixed up metaphors and unreliable narrator. So I may just have to understand it better when I revisit the game. But until then, to anyone watching, thank you for stopping by. Not sure what game I might stream next. It's just kind of a one-off because I knew it was a fairly short game. But I will see you guys later. Until next time, bye.